Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode in our series on helping financial service professionals become true sales Sherpas for their prospects and clients. I am David Fisher, also known as D Fish, and welcome to everybody who's joining us live. If you are joining us live, go ahead and down in the comments below, put up where you are joining us from, what city, state, zip code, part of the country, part of the world that you are in. Would love to know who's with us today, so it's not just me yelling out into the void. And of course, if you're joining us on one of our afterwards on our YouTube channel, welcome to you as well. Again, to remind everybody, we have all of our LinkedIn Live series captured at our YouTube channel. In fact, we've got a ton of great content there, other videos, trainings, coaching sessions, all kind of great stuff. Go ahead and check that out as well. So again, that link is down below, youtube.com/user/DavidJP Fisher. All right, well, this entire month, we're looking at ways that you can be a more effective guide for your prospects and clients as they go through their financial services buying journey, whether that's looking for financial advice, whether that's looking for insurance, banking, whatever it might be. When people are looking for help with financial decisions, which are usually pretty important decisions, they really need somebody who is a trusted advisor to help them go through that process. Unfortunately, the phrase trusted advisor has been bandied about so much, kind of meaningless. So we want to kind of recapture what it really means to be that trusted guide. And again, I use the concept that I first wrote about in my book, Hyper-Connected Selling, and that is the concept of the Sales Sherpa. The Sales Sherpa, of course, is going to be that person that guides, in literal sense, somebody up the mountain to the mountaintop to where they want to go. But metaphorically, they have some knowledge. They know the lay of the land. They know what opportunities are out there. They also know what obstacles it's important to avoid. And so today I want to look at a very important sales topic, but one that we also want to make sure we're looking at through the lens of being that guide, that Sherpa, as opposed to just a transactional salesperson. And that is the idea of discovery questions. Now, I've seen a lot of organizations that have discovery questions baked into how you first interact. For example, with a prospect, you're kind of capturing information, a lot of times some of the facts and figures and numbers, maybe asking what one or two of their big goals are. That stuff's all great. But at the same time, those processes tend to be much more it's transactional. It's very easy to just feel like you've got to fill in a blank. And when we do that, we're not really getting the true power of a discovery conversation, because I think there's really three things we're looking to do when we're engaged in this discovery process. And by the way, this is definitely something that comes up with your prospects, but it's a style of conversation that you can continually go back to. This can be with your clients, your existing clients, maybe short-term clients, but also people that you've known for a long time. You can use it with your networking partners, with referral partners, centers of influence. It's always okay to ask questions as opposed to just tell people things. Because when you do ask discovery questions, three really important things happen. One is it actually creates a connection between you and the person you're talking to. And I can't overstate the importance of this enough, because think about how often somebody asks you about what's going on in your life, in your world, in your business. It's pretty rare. And usually it's just, the people that are closest to you, like maybe your family or your best friends. But rarely do we have people actually engage and try to find out about us. And when you do that, when you do try to find out about them, they really like it. They go, wow, there's somebody paying attention to me. There's somebody listening to me. That human-to-human connection should, again, you can't overstate how important that is. So that's the first thing that discovery questions do, and asking those questions, and of course, listening to the answers. The second thing that it does is it makes sure that you're having the right conversation with the right person. You could call this qualifying, that you're qualifying the conversation you're about to have. This is very obvious when we think about prospects and we go, okay, is this person really a prospect for me? Are they the right person that I should be able to, do they have problems I can help solve? Is this going to be a good conversation? But again, you can always be qualifying. Like maybe you're talking to an existing client, somebody you've worked with for a while. And, as you're asking more questions and engaged in finding out more about what's going on with them, you might find there's other places you can serve them. You might be able to find out if there's referrals you can ask for, or maybe find out if it's not the right time to ask for some additional business. And then finally, the third part is kind of the traditional role of the discovery question. It helps you find gaps. And I call these gaps because they're a gap between where the person is and where they want to be. You can call that pain. You can call that those challenges. You can call those opportunities. Whatever the phrases you want to use it. You're really trying to uncover the differences between, again, where they are and where they could and want to be. And that is really kind of the meat of your discovery questions. So how do you actually ask these questions? There are a lot of different ways of approaching this process. You could even just Google discovery questions in sales and come up with a huge list. Here's what I want to help you focus on, though, is a couple things. The first thing I want you to focus on is that you're looking for essay answers, not text box answers. And what I mean by that is you want people to tell you a story. You want them to feel free to give you the details, give you the nuances, because as they give you those nuances, that's where you're going to actually figure out where there's a place that you might be of service. So obviously go to those open-ended questions. I think that's so important. But also ask those questions, those open-ended questions, in a way that frames a story, not a one-word answer, right? So help me understand this. What's going on with this? Talk to me about this. How have you found this? Right? These are all ways of opening up a broader conversation. But I think there's really three things you can kind of look at to ask. One is ask about existing pain, about existing challenges that people might have. And so these can be, what has been happening with blank so far? What does blank cause for you, right? Let's say you're talking to a couple, and let's say you're a financial advisor, a wealth manager, and you ask them, what does not having a clear idea of your assets and your liabilities cause for you, right? Have you ever tried to fix this before? How long has blank been a challenge? What have you lost out on because of blank, right? These are all questions that, again, we can use these to find out more. And the other thing I'm going to throw out there for you is something I call a momentum question. So a momentum question is designed to be a follow-up to that initial discovery question. So I'm going to stay on some of the examples I just mentioned now about finding out existing pain points. What have you lost out on because of, the fact that, you don't have a clear picture of what all of your assets are and what your financial goals are? They might say something relatively concise. Well, we probably haven't been able to invest as much. It's easy to leave that, right? It's easy to go, oh, okay, that sucks. But again, we want stories. We want them to talk about what's going on for them. So in that case, the momentum question could be, and if you had a broader picture, broader understanding of what your finances were, what are some of those opportunities that you would have hoped to have gained, right? So you ask them what they lost out on. They said the opportunities. Okay, great. So we want to dive into asking them about more opportunities. I also call these momentum questions, just in a general sense, the next question, because it's very easy when somebody answers our question for us to stop and then provide a statement, ask another question, and keep going. And by the way, sometimes people do want to just share a bunch with you. Sometimes they don't. That's totally okay. But it's your job then to continue to not in an obnoxious way, but in a way that shows that you really want to know, to kind of keep asking them those questions. All right. You can also figure out, what are they currently doing? What has been happening with, your financial decision-making process so far? How have you chosen to make decisions like this so far? A great thing is, when you think about making decisions about insuring your family and kind of working out the finances, how do you like to do the research for that? How have you done that in the past? Again, we're trying to identify what's actually happening. There's a great saying, I think it goes, prescription without diagnosis is malpractice, right? So we have to be able to diagnose the challenges first, and that requires information. Another part of the discovery process too, though, is not only what's been going on, but if we want to figure out what that gap is, we also have to know where they want to go, right? So I love asking questions that are talking about the future. So if blank was fixed, what would that do for your life, right? If you had a clear way of making financial decisions, what would that do for your life? What would that do for your marriage? What would that do for your relationship with your kids? What would you be able to do with, some extra income coming in? Or what would you be able to do if there were some tax advantages we could find for you and you'd actually have some additional revenue? What would you do with that? Oh, we'd probably save it. Momentum question. Awesome. So as you were saving, where would you put that savings for? What are the things that you're looking to do in the future, right? We're continually asking that question. We're keeping it focused on them. And that's so important. I'm looking at the time. We're almost out of time. So those are the 3 areas that I think you can use these discovery questions. And again, this is not a goal of just filling in a box. I think that's where those momentum questions can come in, because I've seen professionals do this where I've got to ask these questions. How are you doing this sort of planning? Where's your money right now? What kind of returns are you getting? Blah, blah, blah. But those are just facts and figures. We want to figure out how that person is making decisions, how those decisions are impacting them, because then we're positioning ourselves to help to be a sales Sherpa. And one of the things I always say is the sales Sherpa helps people make decisions more easily, more quickly, and effectively, and with less risk. And that's what we're trying to do for people. So try those out the next time you have a conversation with a prospect, a client, somebody in your network. And I think you'll be really pleased with how the results pan out. If you have any questions on any of this, go ahead and give me I guess I was going to say give me a call. You're more than welcome to give me a call, but just even reach out to me on LinkedIn here or shoot me an email. By the way, I do a lot of these trainings for organizations. And if you have a team or a part of a team that would love to get more of these Sales Sherpa tips and really in depth for your team to help you win more business, please check out my website, davidjpfisher.com. In fact, go /speaking. It's got all of my topics and seminars right there. Everybody else, thanks so much for your time. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow at noon, or if you're watching this on recording, right back here on YouTube. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.